The anime starts with a girl Maple being asked to play a VR game with her friend Risa. Risa tells her it will be interesting and leaves to go do something for her mom. She puts on the headsets and starts playing New World online. Maple is led to the sign-up screen where she inputs her name and chooses her weapon, a great shield and a short sword. She then proceeds to distribute all her status points into defense. After being transported, Maple walks around and realizes that she is slow as fuck because she didn't put any points into agility. She asks a passerby where to find monsters and Federica, the blonde girl, gives her directions to the forest. Maple goes into the forest and a cute monster attacks her. Since her defense stats are so high, the bunny does no damage and she stands there for an hour letting it attack her. Maple soon gains the absolute defense skill which doubles her defense points. The bunny eventually dies from attacking too much and Maple levels up, adding more points to defense again. As she walks, a wasp comes and attacks her, but because it does poison damage, Maple cannot defend against it. She retreats and gains the low poison resistance skill. As the wasp keeps shooting poison, her poison resistance reaches a moderate level. What in the plot armor is that? Finally, Maple kills the monster, gains the giant killing skill, and reaches level 8. The skill doubles her stats and is permanent. Who made this game, bruh? She falls asleep and many monsters attack her. When she wakes up, she gains the meditation skill which heals her by 1 HP every 10 seconds. She realizes that the bugs are eating away at her skin and defeats them all. She gains more status points again. You already know where she put it, I don't have to explain anymore. Maple logs out and goes to sleep. The next day, she logs in and calls out to another shielder named Chrome. She asks him about his cool shield and he introduces her to his crafter who made it. Her name is Iz. Maple introduces herself and Iz tells her that a shield would cost millions of coins even though Maple only has 3,000. To earn more coins, she goes into a dungeon and encounters some slimes. Maple swiftly slashes them down and acquires the shield attack skill. Continuing through the labyrinth, she sees a poisonous dragon. It shoots poison at Maple and disintegrates her weapons, causing her health to lower. As her health decreases, Maple continuously uses health potions until she gains advanced poison resistance, and by repeating this, she eventually acquires poison immunity. Seriously, who made this game? The dragon picks Maple up and Maple escapes its grasp by biting it. When she is let go, she bites the dragon's foot and proceeds to bite the rest of its body until it is defeated. A chest appears and Maple reaches level 18. She gains the Hydra Eater skill which lets her use poison attacks and receive overpowered loot. She meets Risa when walking to school and Maple tells her about the Battle Royale event happening soon. Risa is impressed with how obsessed Maple has become and can't wait for her exams to finish so that she can start playing. Maple logs into the game on the day of the event. She spawns on a dilapidated building and a guy called Christmas Rose jumps up and tries to attack her. Maple puts her shield up and Christmas is devoured by the shield. A bunch of guys rushes to ambush her, but Maple uses paralyzing shout and eliminates them. As the event progresses, Maple continues destroying the other players. They attempt to defeat her in many different ways, but ultimately fail as Maple uses the Hydra skill to poison her enemies. The host tells Maple that she is in third place, adding that the top 3 are marked on the map. More players surround Maple and she casually defeats them all. When the timer ends, Maple remains in third place and is belated about her results. When Maple tells Risa about it, she is surprised. They continue discussing about it in class and Risa decides to be an evasive shielder. Risa logs in and puts her points into agility to allow her to evade attacks. Maple asks Iz to make her a new shield and they head out to an underground lake to get materials for the shield. There, they fish for materials and gain a total of 25 scales. Risa jumps into the water to fish instead of using the fishing rod but discovers a locked door. She returns with a large pile of scales and tells Maple about the secret underwater cave. Over the days, Risa increases her swimming skill level so that she can defeat the underwater boss. When her skill reaches level 10, Risa dives down to defeat the fish boss. They attack each other for a long time and Risa starts to lose her breath. Maple becomes worried because Risa hasn't come out after 20 minutes. With some hard work, Risa finally defeats the boss but at that moment faints in the water. She wakes up on a platform with a large chest and when Risa surfaces with her new drip, Maple is extremely impressed. Risa and Maple discuss how to become stronger since defense-piercing attacks have been added to the game. They join the game and Maple buys a new skill. She sees 2 girls looking at weapons outside. They go into a cafe for some dessert and talk about the next event. Dread and Drag, who got 2nd and 5th place in the Battle Royale, tell them that the second event has been announced. Dread tells them that Pain will be hard to beat since he won the first event by a large margin. As they go, Dread and Drag recommend them to go to the North Forest where they can gain the Super Acceleration skill. In the forest, they see scary skulls and skeletons, so they decide to go into a small house. Risa pussies out and wants to log out, but she hears a noise underneath the table. They discover a basement and see a screaming man who is tied up. Risa repeatedly heals the NPC and it soon flies up, leaving behind the Super Acceleration skill. The next day, Maple and Risa are at the dungeon to go to the 2nd floor and defeat some wild boars. A wild bear appears in front of them and they defeat it using their new skill called Mirage. Going through a stone gate, they meet the dungeon boss and attack it. Risa notices that the apple is its weak point, so Maple bites it with Hydra. Risa goes to attack the boss and defeats it. They reach the 2nd floor and meet Iz, who presents Maple with her white shield. They have a romantic galaxy dinner to celebrate her new shield. On the day of the event, they see Chrome and Me, the leader of a guild, giving an inspirational speech. Chrome explains that the guild is called the Kingdom of Flame Emperor. Soon, the host comes to tell the players that they will have to collect medals that have been scattered around the map by stealing from other players or just by purely hunting for medals. After spawning in, they try to find some medals but only see grass. Maple goes missing after falling through the ground and Risa follows her. They discover a gate and encounter a strong monster which they easily defeat using their skills. A chest appears containing 2 silver medals. After collecting it, Risa and Maple teleport out and travel to a snow biome where they meet Chrome and his team. Chrome tells them that he hasn't found any medals yet, so Risa and Maple allow Chrome to explore the dungeon. However, even after Chrome enters, the teleporting circle remains. Since something bad may have happened to Chrome, they decide to go inside and are soon attacked by a large ice bird. Risa attempts to slash it while Maple uses her Hydra skill. Unfortunately, the bird is able to freeze the Hydra. They wait for its barrage of attacks to end before attacking it but are still unable to kill it. Risa uses her Mirage skill to sneak behind, finally defeating it. They find 5 silver medals and 2 monster eggs. After teleporting out, they try to hatch their eggs. Later, Risa goes down a cliff to explore it and suddenly Maple rolls down in a poison capsule. Soon, the eggs hatch a fox whom Risa names Oboro and a turtle whom Maple names Syrup. They acquire a ring that allows her to fight alongside their monsters. Risa and Maple go around fighting monsters with their new pets. After that, they walk through a forest and see an oasis. When they walk towards it, they meet a girl called Kasumi who wants to attack them for their medals. Risa takes out her sword and Kasumi pussies out and tries to run, but Risa catches up to her. Maple lands on the ground and all 3 of them sink into the sand. Underground, an effect that chains them together is placed on them, so they call a truce. They walk through the dungeon and talk about the big bird. Suddenly, a giant snail passes through, shaking the whole cave. They realize that the snails are immortal and dash away. They run into a dead end and attempt to escape through a small hole in the ceiling but cannot reach it. However, Kasumi uses her sword skills to jump through the hole and finds a chest containing weapons and medals. Once they teleport out, Kasumi apologizes and goes her separate way. Over the rest of the time in the event, Maple and Risa slowly accumulate medals. They meet Kanade, who tells them about his staff, which looks like a cube. He gives them a book with a riddle, but Maple and Risa have no clue what it means. Kanade tells them a clue to go to the ancient ruins. At the ruins, Maple and Risa discover a fountain and fill it up with water. The place glows and they are transported to an underwater ruin with a giant squid. Maple uses Hydra to turn the water poisonous, defeating the squid. Maple and Risa are still short on 2 medals, so Risa goes to attack players while Maple stays back. After defeating a large group of players, she earns 2 medals and goes back to the cave. Kasumi goes in wanting to hide as well and they chill until the event ends. Syrup learns the Megamorph skill and Maple uses the Psychokinesis skill that she learned to make it fly. When walking to school, Risa tells her to be careful of showing her game habits in real life. Throughout the whole day of school, Maple keeps showing her in-game habits and makes everyone think that she is weird as hell. In the game, Risa tells Maple that she will be able to buy a house if she catches a golden firefly. Maple wants to go catch one immediately, but Risa shows her the one she already collected. They go around finding houses but don't find any that they like. While walking, they stumble upon a treehouse they like. Risa buys the house and they invite Kasumi and Kanade to live at the house. When meeting with them, they see Chrome and Iz and decide to invite them to the guild too. In the house, Maple names the guild Maple Tree. Kasum and Maple enter a mine for materials while Chrome, Kasumi, and Risa fight monsters. During the guild meeting, Chrome tells them about the third and fourth events. They realize that they need more members, so Maple and Risa go to the recruiting board. No one is suitable, so they try to recruit someone on the first floor instead. Maple overhears the two girls she saw earlier on and invites them to join. Risa comes back and they go to a cafe. The white-haired girl is Yui and the black-haired girl is Mai. They have put all their points into offense. Risa and Maple bring the new members into the dungeon so that they can go to the second floor. The boss spawns and Risa does some Naruto moves to create shadow clones and defeats the boss. Later, Yui and Mai are introduced to the other members.